So hello everyone and welcome to Wilson Waffling Live, episode 29, recorded on the 18th of January 2015. Waves, devices and iMacs. So here we go. Let's cue titles.
Wilson Waffling.
So hello, I'm here. I'm just going to flip that down for a second. I am here. I'm touch and go. I tell you why, because BT yet again is sort of like letting me down on this, and it looks like I started off trying to broadcast at 1080, but that didn't go down very well, so I reduced it to 720 and that wouldn't go down. Then I went down to 480, but I've managed to get it back up to 720, so hopefully this is working. So hello and welcome to Wilson Waffling Live episode 29. One more and then I'm episode 30. See, I'm not a mathematician for nothing, I tell you. So I'm trying to sort of like do two things, well, lots of things on my same monitor tonight, because disaster has struck. My iMac has completely died. All I get is like the white screen of death, and it boots up and then it just sort of like goes, and then that's it, and it doesn't get on. And I woke up this morning, I was busy answering emails, and all of a sudden it just froze, and then that's been it. So two things are on the cards. Number one, I have to try to find somewhere that can actually repair it. I don't know how much that's going to cost me. Hopefully I'll be able to get some stuff back. A lot of it is backed up to iCloud or to Google Drive and things like that, but I'm still desperate to get some things back that are on there. For example, ScreenFlow, all my ScreenFlow stuff is up there, and I don't know how to get that back, so that's one thing. So, but to be honest with you, I think it's sort of like I think it's fate. I think it's fate, because I think it's a kick for me to buy a new iMac. You know, one of these 5K or 4K Retina display ones. Yeah, I just think it's fate. That's all I think it is. I think it's fate. So we will be. I have to. So the top and bottom of this is that I have to put everything onto my one computer, and so everything is sort of like squashed together, so it's probably struggling at the moment. Well, it's not struggling because it's a big machine, and it's probably doing absolutely fine at the moment. But just to let you know, if anything sort of like if I do sort of like suddenly sort of like disappear or anything like that, that is probably why, and that's probably the reason. So it's just sort of like slowly slowing down and then stopping. Now, I was just watching the connection then, but I think we're still in there. So, what a busy week! And do you want to? I have one of those strange Sundays when everything was sort of like mixed up, and I ended up not going to Starbucks at the same time and going to the gym earlier and doing everything in a roundabout fashion. So and then I realised that I was meant to start this at 7. I keep saying that I'm going to start at 7, and now it's 6:30 and I've started. So if you were hanging around for 7 o'clock to watch this, then I do apologise, you've missed it. But watch it on YouTube. So let's get on with things, and let's see what's been happening on wilsonwaffling.co.uk this week. So here we are. Now then, this was last week's blog post here about flipping, and then since then this was last week's episode of Wilson Waffling Live, when we talked about catching up and getting to know each other again and looking at Twitter and things like that. Now this one, sometimes I need to listen back to things, because this was somebody just somebody just tweeted me. Nothing to do with the show, so don't worry. This was Wilson Waffling Does Apps. Okay, and I've as you know, I've been doing this for a while, and this week it was all about the Grid Guru 2. And do you know, I've put this out there and it's had two views, and that's it. But I'm not really surprised, because I don't know whether or not you're actually going to be able to hear this, but I'm going to play it in any case. I'm just going to turn it on so I can hear it through. Let's just turn that off. Right, here we go. So listen to this. And you can just press one of these. So if I press 2 digit by 2 digits, it goes straight in and it gives you those two options, 70 by 90. Now, the next part of it is the only bit I'm not keen on, because in order to get the grid up, down here there's a... Now, I kid you not, I was listening to that earlier and there was a dreadful echo on it. Has that echo gone? Do you hear an echo? Button that says partition, and you partition the numbers ourselves. But anyway, one downfall is 1 down times 10, and we can actually really press the buttons. I've got perfect sound this time. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, this is Grid Guru, and Grid Guru, as you can see, allows you to teach grid multiplication. Now I know there's a lot of talk about this not being used in school and sort of like taken away and etc, etc, etc. But I really like this program, and there's only one bit that I don't like, and this is this part here, that this button down here says partition, and it automatically partitions it 70 by 90. Now the next part of it, so, and I don't actually like that. I think it, you know, it would be better if it could just be done by itself, but you can type in the answers here, and then you can add them up right at the end, and then there's an option to check it. So as an app, I thought it was really good, and I thought you could connect it up to the whiteboard and or the interactive whiteboard, sorry, and project it up so everyone can see it, or you can give it to groups to do, and there is the option to type in your own number, or you can do, I'll just find them, you can do, here's the options that you can do. So you could do 2 digits by 1 digit, 2 digits, 3 digits by 1, 3 by 2, or choose your numbers. And I thought that was really nice. So that was Wilson Waffling Does Apps, and that was Grid Guru. So if you want to have a look at that, or go and check out any of the other apps that I've done, then by all means pop along to wilsonwaffling.co.uk, and if you go down to the bottom in the related post, you can see the others that I'm doing. Right, so that was that. Now, I also last week had the opportunity to take a first year group, and I always think that Monday morning should start with a wave. And so what we did, this is my this is the first years at my university, and this is a whole cohort lecture about professional studies. And I think what I'm going to do, hang on, I'm just going to get rid of me out of it so you can see it, but you should still be able to hear me. So here we are, we did a Mexican wave. So here we go for Mexican wave. 3, 2, 1, go. How cool is that? Somebody was very keen there. Excellent. And that was the Mexican wave, and that's how I started off my Monday morning lecture. So engagement to the hilt, nothing to do with learning, but got people engaged. So let's get rid of that. So that happened last Monday. So we had Wilson Waffling Does Apps, Grid Guru, and then this throughout the week I've been participating. Well, to be honest with you, and I'm going to be completely honest here, I started off being a little bit nervous about stuff, and I actually just listened, and I didn't sort of like participate that much, and I just sort of like kept, I was like almost like a Twitter voyeur, and I watched the chats, but I didn't say anything. And it's just as I got more into the week that I decided to start saying things in the Twitch chat. But I've been following something that I saw advertised, and then I popped it in my diary, and it was all to do with BYOD4L chat. Now let me just do this so we can just zoom in a bit. Here we go. this is what it was, and this is a web page here, so, and it stands for BYOD4L, stands for Bring Your Own Devices for Learning. And I really did enjoy the chats, the tweet chats, and a wonderful community of people, lots of really good chats, lots of very good comments and activities and resources, and it was fantastic. Now, so I thought what I would do this week is that I would talk about bringing your own devices to work or to university with you. And I thought, rather than talking about what I talked about in the tweet chat, I thought I'll actually talk about why I think it's a good idea to bring your own devices to work. Now, just to remind you that if you want to go and have a look at this, there is the audio version here. Okay, and the audio version you can listen to. There are some ratings here, so if you fancy giving it a 1 or 2 stars rating, then by all means click on there. And this is the main sort of like part of it. And I am aware that some tutors or some institutions might not allow mobile phones out on desks or things like that, and I totally understand that, and I actually say down at the bottom of this about the distractions and things. But one thing that there was sort of like 3 things that I really wanted to focus on in this this article, and the first one was this one. I'll just see if I can zoom in a bit more so you can see it. Here we go. Let's get it above my head. There you go. So this was the first one that I really wanted to zoom in on, which was called ease of access. And what I really wanted to sort of like point out here is that, if I'm used to using a Windows machine or an iMac or an Apple thing, and you pop me in front of something new or something different, then it's really difficult. It takes me a while to get used to it and sort of like get involved in it. And I think this can be a barrier to sort of like learning. And I think sometimes what happens is that we expect learners to sort of like engage with devices that we give them, but really and truly they're more happy with their own device and how it works, and they understand the problems with it and what they've got to press and what works and what doesn't work. And I think this is one of my first sort of like point about bringing your own devices to work, this sort of like ease of access. Now, the second point I put is to do with sharing and storing. And one of the things the Bring Your Own Device for Learning chat that came up was this idea of the 5 C's. And the idea that the 5 C's, and I wrote them down at the bottom here. And I apologise, I should know these off by heart, but I'm still learning this. Connecting, communicating, curating, collaborating, and creating. And one of the things that I thought is that sharing and storage is really important. And, when I'm listening at a conference or when I'm at a meeting, I've got my own device and I've got everything that's linked to it. So I can send things to Dropbox if I want, or I can tweet things and share things, or I can store it on Pocket to sort of like use it later, or to curate things together. And if somebody was giving me a different machine to do that on, it would be awful. I wouldn't have that sort of connection. And even when we use the class iPads, students have been saying, can I email? This won't do this, that and the other. And I think sharing a story or any one of those 5 C's are really important. And I think that is one of the advantages of having your own device. It's also the case that, I don't know if you remember last week, I was talking about flipping the classroom. And if any learner has engaged in that material beforehand, then I think it's really important that they've probably engaged with that material and they have it on their actual device. And so say, for example, I was watching a video and I might have written notes and I will keep that on my iPad, or if it was a document, a PDF, I might have highlighted it using iAnnotate or something like that, and then I have those with me and I would want to sort of like have them to share. So another brilliant reason. Now some of you might say yes, but there's things like cloud storage, so you can easily get that from any device. I agree with you, but then you have to log in and you have to remember to not save it to that device, and you have to log out, etc, etc. So I just think, if we've got our own, then that's absolutely fantastic. Now my final point was this idea of anytime you want, and I'm really keen at the moment in promoting sort of like voting and interaction within my sessions. And although we do have a class set of iPads, I can only do it if they're booked and I've got them, and sometimes we can't have them, or sometimes I forget, or sometimes I thought I won't need them, and then also this opportunity comes up and I suddenly want to use them, and this is almost like I want to capitalize on those events, those moments in time. And this is another wonderful reason or benefit of having sort of like bring your own device, in the sense that if it's set up correctly, then I can capitalize on all this. There's no need to sort of like wait or to another time or anything like that. It's there, I can use it, bingo, all done and dusted. Now one thing I will say is that you have to be really careful with this, because we're almost like running an inclusive session, and we don't want people to sort of like not be allowed to join in or not able to join in because their mobile phone or their device does not have that app or that interaction. And I think that is something almost like inclusiveness, and beforehand we were inclusive of learners, and now I think we also have to be inclusive of devices. And I think that's a really interesting the future of sort of like mobile technology. Now I have put some disadvantages here, because of course there are quite a few, and one of the things I put here is that social media is a distraction, and we all know that, and I know because it distracts me. When I'm in a meeting I try to turn it off, but your phone and Snapchat and tweets instantly interrupts you, and they have instant access to your attention, and you have to be really careful. And often I'll put my phone on airplane mode so it doesn't annoy me, but even then I find that I have my my MacBook open, my MacBook Pro, because I'm working on the document inside the meeting, and of course messages pop up on there as well, and it's really difficult. But I think it's a narrow line, and I think for me the benefits outweigh the negatives. The other thing I will say is that charging is becoming a real problem. Even with extended battery life and everything like that, if I'm at a conference for a whole day, because of all the tweeting I'm doing and all the collaboration and curation I'm doing, then my iPad soon gets tired. And one thing I in the teaching room, I teach mathematics, there's often a race for the plugs with the sockets around the outside to connect things in, and I think charging is going to be a real problem in the future, or something that will need to be dealt with. And I think it's interesting that some in the library there's these things that pop up from the table that you can plug in, and hopefully we're going to see things like that in higher education in every room. Also, the only other thing that is sometimes the Wi-Fi could be a bit iffy, but and not connecting. And what I don't want to do is spend a lot of my teaching time solving IT problems, and I don't want to do that. And I think that is something that students or learners need to take responsibility for, so they know that they're actually connected. So that sort of like sums it up, and I sum it up in this last paragraph by saying that as a practitioner, I try to make my sessions inclusive not only to all learners, but now for all operating systems. And I think that's, a really important future. And I think I really like these 5 C's: connecting, communication, curating, collaborating, and creating. And I think that's really interesting. Now, if you've got any opinions or views about anything I've said so far, then by all means, you can add them down here in I'm just trying to find. It's because I'm zoomed in. See, I'm trying to find me. Oh, it's picking it up here. You can add them at the bottom of the post. Let's just go back to my default down here, and I've actually got two ways that you can do it. You can join in via discuss if you wish, or you can if you want to become a regular member, then if you just get in touch with me, and then drop me an email and I'll log you into the site and you can start making comments. Now, of course, remember also you can of course find me on YouTube, and by all means go along and comment or view or even press the like button. That would be fantastic if you want to watch or click anything on there, and that's always available for you to watch. Also remember that I am on Twitter, so if you would like to follow me on Twitter, then that would be fantastic. And if you want my this is my Twitter handle, iWilsonYSJ, and of course you can find me there and follow me along. And of course, if you would like to hashtag anything for Wilson Waffling Live, then by all means you can hashtag it at WillWaffLive, and this means that if you do, you get to appear on this scrolling bit here. Now this is mainly just here because this is what I've tweeted with the hashtag, you know, so but by all means hashtag anything that you want and you will appear there, you know, throughout the show. So now then, before we go any further, we are coming to that wonderful time when we get to Ask Wilson Waffling, or Waffling Wilson, and this is when you can send in your questions to me and I will answer them live here in front of you all. And this is the place that you can go, or you can actually go to my website. And if you go to Wilson Waffling Live, there's wilsonwaffling.co.uk. There's a little button up here. If I can zoom in for you. Here we go. That says Ask Me there. And so you can go straight there and you can post your question and then I will answer it. Now, because I like the excitement, you know, I never ever look at this until the actual today. So there might be 15 questions, there might be 0. I have no idea because I don't like to spoil the surprise. But what we'll do is that we'll zoom across, we'll play the intro, and then we'll have a look. So here we go.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Ask Waffling Wilson.
Please note, the new number is...
Ask Waffling Wilson.
Hello?
You could have told me. You've missed all that, haven't you? You God, be honest, you've missed all that because there was no sound on. Oh god, I'm so stupid. Right, recap is there is nothing on Ask Wilson Waffling, nothing at all. Okay, and the random question was about your best car, and I talked about Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but then I thought it's going to fly. But then I thought, ooh, what about the Condor Man car? And I thought people probably don't know what the Condor Man car is, so I thought I would just show you this brief clip. Hang on, let me just find it. Oh, hang on. I found it, but it's in a foreign language. Hang on. I need the English version. Oh, right. Look, what I'll do is I'll play it, and I'll do it like a voiceover. So here we go. So this is Michael Crawford, and this is the Condor car, and what's going to happen is that it'll change in a minute, and this is the best car ever. So look, he goes down, he drops down into the Condor car. He's a bit like James Bond, look, fancy, and then all of a sudden he's going to drive out and drive away. Here we go, here comes enter, and here comes the Condor car. Go. Da, da, da. Fantastic. Now, if you haven't seen the Condor Man, it's well worth going and watching it. Such a wonderful film, but really old-fashioned, but still absolutely wonderful. Now, do you know, I can't believe that I actually messed up that scene change all the time I do that. So my brother, who I think is one of my viewers, will come and watch my stream and say, do you know, Ian, you weren't talking, nobody could hear you, and of course the chat is so alive that nobody there sort of like could hear me in any case. So anyway, that's it, we're to an end of the show. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I apologise again for the mix-up and the faulty start, but at least I did a whole show. And please remember that if you want to follow me on Twitter, then this is my Twitter handle, so by all means follow me there. Go along to wilsonwaffling.co.uk and keep up to date with me there, and I would love to hear from you. Say anything you want, ask me a question, anything that you want, then just post it or email it or send it to me on Twitter, and I'll get back to you as soon as you can. So this has been Wilson Waffling Live, episode 29. What should I do for the final episode, I wonder? Hope you've enjoyed it. Have fun, and I'll catch you all later. Bye.